live by telephone. Good morning, Congressman Paul. Thanks for getting up early and coming on with us. We appreciate it.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Now, the first, we talk to you all the time when you're on about the Federal Reserve, and I actually may get to that in a moment, but I wanted to ask you about your view on FEMA in wake of what's happened with Hurricane Irene before we get to that. From what I've read and what I've seen in your comments, you think we'd almost be better off without this agency, which is set up to help out in disasters. But tell us your own view before I put words in your mouth of what should happen with FEMA.
Well, in the 1970s, FEMA was created by an executive order by Carter. I was in the Congress at the time, and I opposed it because I thought it was bad economic policy to have government buy insurance for people because they couldn't afford it in low areas, which to me meant that they would encourage more building, and take more risk. Insurance is a good idea because it tells you how much risk you're taking. But once you destroy the principle of insurance, you invite more trouble. And we've been doing it. It's been very, very expensive.
Right.
And we we're not only is the country broke, but FEMA is broke too. So economically, I think it's a very bad thing to do. But the big problem is people like to pull that stuff up. All of a sudden they see a lot of suffering and a lot of problems, and they think, well, this is the only way you can do it. Yeah, government actually makes problems worse so often rather than solving problems. What about FEMA's really an inefficient agency when you look at it in detail, too.
Oh, it may be, but what about the people up in, just to isolate one area, in Vermont today, for example, and I just bring up Vermont because we were talking just in the last hour to one of the emergency management officials up there, and they're talking about all these towns that are isolated, and I said to him at the end of the interview, how are you paying for this? And he said, yeah, we're getting a lot of help from the federal government.